Coming to from the divided states of America.
It's the Bob and Bob Show. Yes, y'all. You are on the Bob and Bob Show. I'm your host, LB. I'm one of the Bobs. And with me, as always, we have the bearded one, which is the other Bob. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
We got Chops here, as always. What's up, Chops?
Hello, how you doing?
He's messing with the keyboard and being a jackass throughout the show. So have fun listening to him.
You suck.
And then,
I do have fun listening to Chops, man.
We also have a guest, Cody Crow. They call him Clutch Driven Crow, even though he can't drive a car. So
smash.
He's in here with a little bit of commentary for us today, and obviously bobandbobshow.com. Go there. You can see stuff that we got going on. We have some footage, live video, some stuff. If you want to see the show in action, we got a drum solo there that we had from the Y2 Kid. Remember that dude?
Yep.
Really badass drum player. He did a little ding dangle for us.
Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
I think it was a dingle dang.
A dingle dang.
Yeah, I think so.
Also, we have complaintboxes.com. That's a little social media platform we developed for people to bitch and moan about stuff, I guess.
It's Facebook, only it's not.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have the functionality of Facebook, I guess. I don't know. It has the similarities.
It doesn't have $1 billion budget either.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. But with your help, you can help us build a social media platform where we can complain about stuff, try to find solutions.
Not data mine.
No, yeah, we don't collect any data. We just keep deleting that crap.
Yeah, we're not selling you to advertisers.
Yeah. All right. So, tons of stuff in the news. We obviously have the Iran situation happening and drone getting shot down. You know, there's that. We're going to talk about that. They're getting close to the halfway point.
Yeah.
Chops, I got some stuff for you. We have Sex Doll Maker creates replicas of dead partners to combat loneliness.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's going to be fun. We also got the baby space race. They're racing to see who had the first child born in space.
It was me. I told you that weeks ago.
Have they? Well, I'll get to it when we get to it.
Have they what?
Have they sent an animal up there to have a child in space yet?
Yeah, I'm
like
not
a
sure.
chimpanzee or something.
That would probably be the first thing you should do, right?
I would think so. I mean, they send a dog before they send a man, you know?
Yeah. So we got a swarm of thousands of earthquakes that hit Southern California. Should they be worried? I don't know. I'm not sure what the deal is there.
Is that unusual?
Huh?
Is that unusual?
I don't know. I don't know what their stats are over there, but I know they're on a fault line, and that's over there. So
there's a lot of reasons not to be in California.
Yep. There's a global boom in exorcisms. There's that one too. I don't know if you
Praise the Lord.
A global boom in exorcisms.
Yeah, there's a lot of exorcisms going on. People are possessed.
Where do they keep records of that at?
I don't know. The Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know.
I'm sure they scribble in a journal or on their iPad every time they do one. You know.
Well, I'm a firm believer we're getting close to the rapture.
And maybe a little more exercising. We wouldn't need so much exorcism. Yeah. Everybody's crazy.
Well, we're not allowed to say GD in front of Chops. So,
no.
Gosh darn,
yeah.
I say it all the
time. We
time.
can say that, but we can't say the other way.
Oh,
or you can, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I say it anyway. So do you.
Yeah, right. So we got half of the Americans are now over the age of 38.
Yeah.
So people aren't having babies, but yet they're racing to have babies in space. I don't know what that's.
Well, having a baby in space, you know, you get a point for that, I guess.
They're preoccupied by trying to have a baby in space, so nobody's having sex.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, oh, we're going to have sex in 50 years right now. We can't have it now.
I wonder what justifies these decisions. Like, why are we spending the money on that?
I don't know. We got some UFO stuff, too. Politicians. You guys are trying UFO stuff and politicians meeting, talking about UFOs and how the military is supposed to identify these things so they don't freak out or something while they're out in airspace. So there's that one.
How are you not to freak out? No, just keep going.
Yeah, I don't know.
Never mind.
DHS to move biometric data on hundreds of millions of people to the Amazon cloud. So that's going to be bad news right there. They're going to have like anything from fingerprints to irises to facial recognition to scars, tattoos, palm prints. They're going to know everything about everybody. Yeah. And it's going to be a corporation that owns it. So
I thought we weren't elaborating yet.
No, I'm not. I'm just getting into a little quick thing here, you know. Then there's the big thing everybody's talking about, horns coming out of people's head from looking down at their cell phones all the time, like bone spurs or whatever. They're horns.
You need to find Jesus.
Pass.
Robot fish powered with blood and it goes days without eating.
Pass.
People who spend more time outdoors lead more fulfilling lives. What's that one?
You're a bunch of dumbasses.
ICE, it's going to be raiding people, looking for migrant families that didn't show back up to court on Sunday, tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're going to 10 cities or major U.S. cities. I'm not sure which ones they are. We'll get into that. And,
Who has court on Sunday?
No, they're going to do the raids on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's real nice.
The Google Chrome surveillance stuff, we got some of that. And that's it. We'll just move on from there. What do you got, Bob? I know you got something you want to talk about, too.
Well, I got a little thing about Colin Powell here. He really rallied for the Iraqi situation, and, that didn't turn out to be what we were told it was going to be. And this is no different now with this, what's his name, Michael McDonald? Dude with the mustache.
Bolton,
yeah. Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald, that guy, yeah. With the mustache.
Yeah, with the mustache.
No, that John Bolton Warhawk dude. Yeah, I mean it's pretty dumb, but anyway, I got another one here. Iran switches from dollar to euro for official reporting currency. Imagine that. Why would that ever be a concern of ours?
Currency wars.
They were saying that currency is going to be the mark of the beast. Is going to be
RFID chip.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. That used to be a conspiracy theory, and now it's real.
It is real.
Yeah.
For real.
I was reading an old NRA publication. This is like, it's like 10 years old. It's from back in the Fast and Furious situation. A little rundown on that if we get to it. Just the rationale behind some of these scandals, especially after a lot of time has passed, makes them so obviously ridiculous. And you wonder why establishments can get away with such things, but they continue to do so. I don't know, man. We'll get into it.
All right, so we'll just go right back to the beginning with the sex dolls, Chops. What do you think?
Sex dolls.
So this manufacturer is trying to fulfill a need. I guess that's how capitalism works. And,
That's exactly how it works, man.
when you look at it, I don't know, man. Wouldn't that
fulfill a want, create a want, and then
wouldn't that make you more sad?
No,
you're seeing your
Not necessarily.
replica of your spouse and you're having sex with it.
Well, they're not making you do it.
I think they've already made a movie. They've already made a movie like that where they have artificial intelligent robots that look like that. Listen, I would make one of my ex-wife and beat it all the time.
You beat it.
Yeah, I beat the hell out of it.
So you get a
all the
replica
time.
of your ex-wife,
Right,
beat the crap out of it.
I'll be like, look, I don't know, his head got punched off. Come back and get it.
You can get it custom made.
Right. It would short circuit on me.
You know, there's some guy that makes a lot of money refurbishing these things too. After they get literally the shit screwed out of them.
Oh my God.
I would wear it out.
I dropped my hot pocket.
Dude, yeah, those anybody that doesn't want to relive their ex-wife or whatever just isn't going to buy that robot. It's fulfilling a need, remember?
Yeah, I get it, but let's just having it there regardless. Like, doesn't that?
It's weird.
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
They can start making that be a punishment too. Then they'll start making it of your ex-wife and make you live with that thing.
Oh
again.
yeah, right. You get a domestic violence, you go to court, and they're like, "You're living with the replica."
They're going to give you 3 of them.
And this one's an even bigger bitch.
Oh man, that's awful. But can you still have sex with it though?
I think that was the whole point.
So you can beat it and have sex with it too,
Right.
Or it can beat you up because she probably beat you up, huh?
Ooh.
This is amazing, though.
Probably program it too.
You can program it to get your ass whipped.
Come here.
People are going to spend $500,000 to get a robot of somebody that may or may not still be alive and is choosing to be somewhere else if they're alive. Other than with them. So they're going to have a robot of that person instead of, this is so insane, instead of just going out and being with another human being. I mean, think about the rationale behind this as a person. It's like a pathologically insane kind of dude. It really is.
It's awesome.
It's like cutting off your wiener. Same thing.
Dude, people are like Technology is making people very,
Yep.
very strange.
What about when the two come together, the ex-wife and the new robot doll?
Oh, the robot's gonna win.
Don't be jealous, bitch. You know, she's a little bit better looking than you, and she's a lot younger.
She's a lot younger. She never changes. She's the same all the time.
She will never get a wrinkle. And that thing you got going down there, that won't happen to her. High and tight.
Oh no, I don't know. I'd go crazy. I wouldn't. I don't know how to even deal with that, man. Just having a replica of an ex-wife, an ex-girlfriend. Imagine the weird dudes out there that are like miss their ex-girlfriend.
That's who it's gonna be.
Right,
Too.
yeah.
So they just get a replica of her.
Right,
Yeah.
and change
Or
one little thing about it, like the eyes are green instead of blue. like I didn't know.
Or what about those weird guys that
This
are all
one doesn't
obsessed?
have a hammer toe.
You know those guys that are sitting in like a big fat guy sitting in Subway or something that's staring at you or whatever, and he goes gets a replica of you because he's weird as hell.
Oh yeah.
Jeez, dude.
Well, imagine how uncomfortable like West Virginia, that area, where they're getting them made of like their sisters, sex doll sisters and shit.
Oh man, what about the pedophiles?
Watch it
Oh,
go
yeah,
so
that's
far.
too
man.
much.
Watch
That's
it go
too
so
much.
far as to where taxpayer dollars are paying for these to be given to sexual deviants to pacify them, and that's the justification for it.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Well,
Imagine
maybe-
society
Hey,
degenerating
how about
into that.
this one? How about for pedophiles, they actually make the little kids for them, but yet now they don't have to go out and rape little kids anymore.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But people are gonna think that's like a solution to an issue. I don't know. I mean, it's just weird, man.
Give the crazies what they want. Just give them their little
Right.
kids. I mean, come on, that sounds kind of crazy right there, don't
That's
it?
horrible.
You know what? I don't care. I don't
terrible.
care if some pedo gets a robot to do that with. I just don't want. I was going to the whole like draconian socialist society slant to where it would all be everybody else's burden to bear. I
Or
think
where
that-
humans just really don't.
It'd be like
They're not
welfare for
affectionate with
sex
each other.
robots.
Yeah, they're not affectionate to each other anymore. Just the robots.
Yeah. Well, this is that, dude.
Right.
That's what I was just saying. Like, what happened to going out and finding other humans? You know what I
Humans
mean?
don't want to go out anymore.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
like,
get you.
Like the millennial culture, they don't date. They live in their pajamas, you know, and they order Grubhub, and they want to know why they're so
Right.
hopelessly depressed. Well, you're not even alive, man.
I mean, now that Taco Bell delivers, man, it's over.
yeah,
That's what
Nobody's
I'm
leaving.
saying. Like,
Listen, you can stay in a Taco Bell hotel and have Taco Bell delivered.
Right, right.
They
Oh, yeah,
don't
we
even-
saw that commercial the
Yes,
other day.
and
Yeah.
have a mild sauce pillow
Yeah, the pillow.
that's
Yeah.
the best part.
over it. I wonder what the towels are like. I
don't
wonder
know.
what the little soaps and stuff are like. I wonder if they have like a mini fridge, but it's got Taco Bell in there and it's a warmer. It's not a fridge. There's like bean burritos.
That's in
and
the executive
enchiladas.
suites, man.
That's what I'm talking about. Inside the hotel,
They
is
got
a
the little-
Taco Bell.
They got the soaps with the bell on it, right? You know what I mean?
yes. Oh,
Bob Barker, and then it has a little bell on it.
it's over with.
And they smell like gorditas.
I've got to go there.
Oh no! So you guys done with the sex robot thing? You
no,
want to move on?
I'm taking my sex robot
I was
to
done
the
with it
Taco
before it
Bell
started.
hotel pop-up. You got a place for me to plug in my girlfriend?
Millennials, Chops is your champion.
Yeah.
Oh jeez. Well, you know,
Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
the space race for to have the first baby up there. You guys hear about this one?
Nope.
I guess Moscow's on the head of the spear on this one. They're trying to get it done first, but they want to have a child in space,
Right.
Yeah.
Whole bunch
born
of people,
in space.
Why though? Just for claiming rights?
whole bunch of people rushing to do something that don't really matter.
That's what I mean. At some point, that is a part of space travel, and it matters. But what's up with where we're at and where we're going to jump to? Like, we're going to start with that. I'm not
Right.
sure it's the most rational approach. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a freaking space program planner. Obviously, like any whatever. I'm just saying. We have like national exceptionalism has a way of making us competitive in irrational ways. Like it is progress to have a child born in space. Think about the money and research and resource that has to go into that, and how far away down the track is that actually a viable part of a program.
Let's hold on here. Let's hypothesize for a minute.
People
okay?
aren't living in space
But think
yet.
about
We
it.
need
Think-
to have kids in space.
No, listen. Here's what I'm gonna
Right.
get at. Listen to this side of it. Obviously, we've seen the evolution of man change over years, even the way our demeanor and our postures and our
Oh, yeah.
thinking. So we've always adapted to environmental factors, right?
Sure.
So what if you did have a baby in space, and it kind of adapts to this less gravity.
It will.
Kind of
It'll
situation.
be really tall.
Really
From
tall,
birth.
really big eyes.
Yeah,
look like an
because
alien.
it's dark. Yeah, absolutely, more like an alien. Its skin will probably be very different. I mean, it's very different, dude. It's going to be breathing a gas mixture that is not real atmosphere, as far as I understand. I don't think they're capturing real atmosphere and pressure.
Oh yeah, how are they going to do that?
So
they'd have to do it on a space station
Right.
or something like that.
So
that has
it's-
gravity stuff going on, anti-gravity.
yeah, but it's not the same as on Earth. Like there was, I don't know their names or anything, but there was these two twin brothers. One of them was an astronaut. He went up in the space station for like 6 months or something weird like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came back, he was 2 inches taller than his twin brother, dude.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
it
crazy.
does weird stuff to you, man. Yeah.
Huh. So I guess if we really want to advance and move to space, and you want to go to the moon, you want to go to Mars, you try to populate other planets. This would be a good step to get the body.
It is, but is it the right step? Are we dancing around on a keyboard, or are we walking upstairs? You know
Right,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Well, I think it's kind of crazy.
I'm not even that critical of it. I'm just doing what I do.
Well, Chops claims that this has already been happening.
It has, but
We
we're
don't
not
know,
gonna,
maybe.
we're not going to get into that. I told you, we'll not get it. We'll talk about other things than my multi-billion children.
You have multi-billion children.
Yes, I do. I've been trying to tell you that.
Dude, he's 4 ectons
I'm
old.
4 ectons old. Do you even know how old that is?
No, how
I
old
told
is
you
that?
that's 250 million of your years.
It was 400 million last time.
Was it?
I'm sorry.
It's like
I miscalculated.
numbers don't work the same for me.
Listen, that's all we talk is numbers up in space. You know what I mean? 6 9 da 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 da. I like it. Come here, woman. Bah, 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 bah. It's all women up there. That's what I'm saying. I don't need a robot. I don't need none of that.
It's all women. That's all
All women.
Chops is women, right?
Yeah,
See, he's praising it today.
the
He was trying to get away from it last
The
time.
last Mayan, or the last
Mayan.
Last
What's a
ecton
Mayan?
cycle.
the last Mayan trip. I'm saying when I picked up the Egyptians, and I brought back 4 tons of men. Okay,
4 tons of men.
tons. Because listen, who cares how many?
So you weigh them?
Yes, I have to.
You put
Because
them in a
these-
blender
These
and
women
weigh
eat
them
them
in a
alive. They eat them alive. Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying? After they're like praying mantis. After they're done with them, they eat their heads.
Dude,
You know
that's
what I
not
mean?
something you say when you're trying to recruit men to go with you back to space.
Right,
Oh,
they don't
yeah,
want
but
their heads eaten,
up
dude.
until that point, toes curling, like you guys say down here. You know what I mean? Tingles.
Oh, jeez, we're gonna have to move on because you start talking
This
about
guy's
space.
out of control,
Yeah,
man.
you start talking about space and women. He's all like, pew, pew.
Hey, did you see the moon last night? Chops is running around with a boner.
Hey, well, that's what I'm saying. Jupiter's so close right now. I got my dudes from Jupiter coming over, and it. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You suck!
You threw me way
Silence.
off. Don't start waving.
all
your
right,
hands
all
around.
right, man.
You just
Moving
distracted
moving
Chops.
on. He can't do 2 things at once, obviously.
Well, when you're waving your hands at me, I have to look over at you, and I forget all.
Just
what
wave
these are.
back, man. You're saying hello.
Holla back.
Hello.
All right, so next topic here because we're just gonna crank on some stuff because we got to get into the whole Iran crap and a drone going down.
We've got
later.
time. We've got time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, we do because if we get war coming, man, there's gonna be some time that you're gonna need to do some stuff.
Kapooyah, kapooyah.
Oh, that war will be going on forever. So we got
35
time.
years.
Smash, smash.
All right,
Smash
so
the Middle
Iran.
East.
there is a boom in global exorcisms.
Yeah. Kaboom.
So there's a lot of people needing to be like an exorcist to come in and get the demons out.
So are there
yeah.
more like classically religious people now, or are people that already were classically religious just more possessed?
Hey, before we even get into this, we got to figure out: do you think demons are real?
Oh yes, for sure.
Dude, that-
I mean, do you think they really have some kind of evil force inside of
dude,
them?
you're gonna get 1,000 different definitions of that. That's
I'm just trying to pick your brain there, bearded one.
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm looking right at you.
The bearded wonder.
Well,
Drop the
dude,
cookie.
I that's so complicated. I don't even have one definition for a demon. To me, it's like an adjective for something. It's not the actual noun itself. I mean,
So the Catholic Church is going in here and they're doing their little voodoo thing with the cross and all that crap,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Demons be released" or whatever. And the person actually they video record this.
dude, the power
and
of
it
suggestion can be so strong. It'll fool the people that are even involved in it. People do it on stage all the time at comedy clubs.
Well, yeah, well that's a form of the placebo effect, kind of.
It is.
I guess, you know.
It's exactly what it is.
So I mean, but really, there's obviously some kind of forces at work that are outside of like human understanding and consciousness.
There could be.
Because some humans can get really deep down into their zen, you know what I mean, and actually feel and see things that most people don't.
Yeah, they enter different dimensions.
Yeah, so
Like Doctor Strange.
who's Doctor Strange?
He's a Marvel comic.
Oh yeah, I don't look
Yeah,
at that stuff. Do you read
Doctor
comic
Strange.
books still?
But no, I watch a whole lot of Iron Man and the Avengers and stuff like that.
Dude,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I relate.
that's so out of
You know
my
what I mean?
element.
I relate. So, I got to watch stuff like that.
So I mean, why is there a global boom in this not right now? That's the other side of it. Like why
Because
I blame guns.
you blame guns?
Yeah.
But maybe it's
Listen.
just the mental stability globally is just becoming so out of whack from technology and everything else that's influencing us.
Some
gotta-
people that are inclined to be super religious and superstitious are running to that instead of other avenues or with other avenues even.
I'm just saying, like mentally, the stability of the mental state of global people globally.
People aren't as integrated or tough. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
and they're just
no
becoming
shit.
more
God.
just can't think for themselves kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
I know some people that they'll wake up in the morning and they're all good. They're ready to like handle the day or whatever, and then some stress hits them, and boom, they're just drinking a beer. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
And then
of
they're
course.
drunk by 5 o'clock, and they're all wasted. Didn't get anything.
Dude, those are
accomplished.
called alcoholics, man.
Well,
There's
I'm
a
saying,
whole bunch of them all over the place.
I'm just saying. So people get hit with stress, and all of a sudden they have to cope with it somehow.
So that would be that particular individual's demon. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I get it. Yeah. So some of the drug users, those are demons,
Sure.
and the
Fired
alcohol.
up, son.
Well, a lot of people would say that the demons drive them to use drugs because people are using. Usually, when people addiction is usually a form of what some would call escapism, but I don't necessarily see it as escapism all the time. Sometimes it is just it's a fulfillment of a void that they aren't necessarily aware of. So, is the demon the void or the drug?
Both.
I would say so.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Demons take more than one form. And to
So-
me, it has nothing to do with the Bible.
So if
you know
you're,
what I mean? It's,
so let's find a drunk guy that's like we're talking about, and then we're gonna call the Catholic Church and then get an exorcism of them.
I'm sure that happens
An alcohol,
a lot, dude.
an alcohol
especially,
exorcism.
especially in certain like older style communities, maybe some rural Spain type stuff, or even rural America. You know?
Well, it's crazy, 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 crazy. So let's get into this war stuff real quick. I mean, not real quick because it's gonna dominate for a while here. Apparently, we had this drone that went down. Was not the Strait of Hormuz, was it? It was yeah, it was the Strait of Hormuz
I don't
area.
know exactly.
That's where the drone went down. But there's a timeline here of how the propaganda and how the United States like actually spits it out all over the news, and they change the story so many times you don't know what the hell's going on because we had 2 tankers that got sabotaged, right?
Well, they
I
keep
thought they
taking.
got shot with missiles.
No, they found like bombs on the side of them or something, and one went off.
I thought. Well, the captain said he witnessed something from the sky coming from an airplane.
Oh, really? I didn't read
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
dude.
that's what they were saying
That's what
yesterday.
the captain was saying. But see, all this is going to get spun into a web to where it doesn't even matter what the truth is because it's such a convoluted mess that it's just that. It'll be a ridiculous quagmire to the point where it doesn't even matter what all the lies were because there were so many of them. Who cares which
Yeah,
ones
so
are,
that's what we're
you
going to try
know?
to point out because the Gulf of Tonkin got us into Vietnam pretty
Sure.
much. So and there's throughout the World War I, World War II, and Vietnam, there's so much propaganda involved in that.
Yeah.
American people don't want to go to war, and I don't think I guess our listeners probably understand that war is a racket, and it's for the profitability of the elites.
Dude, and you know what?
Hell yeah!
People really don't want to go to war because if you dig into history and look back, the establishment every time has had to sell war really hard, and it's getting harder for them to do. Like nobody wanted World War I. Americans didn't want World War I. Even the
No.
president didn't want it. They did what they could to stay out of it, but it's not all about the president or the people, and we know this. So all of a
Yes.
sudden, our intervention gets
Our
sucked in.
interventionalism.
We get sucked in one way or another. And the same thing with World War II. And Korea and Vietnam kind of don't make sense to me at all.
Well,
why we were even at either
dude,
one.
If you hear about a war and you hear the propaganda all over the news and you hear it on the radio, and if you're an American citizen, the first thing that you should do is question it immediately.
Right.
Second, you should already know that there is no need for war unless it's for your freedom.
And the last one we had for that in America was the Civil War.
Right.
And whether or not it was for freedom depends on which side you were on. But both sides, whether you agree or disagree with them, because chances are you're on one side, not the other, both of them, I mean, even establishments or groups of people don't go to war unless they truly believe in their viewpoint. Both viewpoints are valid. It was about more than slavery, even though slavery was a big part of it. But aside from that, it was basically states' rights versus federal government power over the states. Both of those were wars for freedom in different senses, but that was an internal war in America. That was the last war where you could say with validity, our troops are fighting for our freedom.
Yeah.
That was the last time.
Yeah.
Because that was the last war that had anything to do with American soil.
Well, if you see a lot of stuff on like social media and stuff, they're like, you'll see people actually like before the war, they're like, screw those towel heads, they did this and they did that, and
Sure.
blah, blah, blah. Like, for real. You have no idea exactly what they did. All you did was read that somewhere,
Right.
and now you're all pissed off. You saw a meme or something.
Right.
So this is how the propaganda starts getting
Well, most people
real
really
thick.
don't think. They take in sound bites. It isn't a new thing.
Yeah, they read headlines.
Yeah, they take in sound bites real quick. They don't give it a whole lot of inspection or just deep thought about it, and they just go with it because it sounds all right on the surface, and they just never look any farther.
Y'all are so full of shit.
It's not even that.
Dude, for real, Chops.
It's
with your
not
sound
even
effects.
that they're not capable of seeing through bullshit. They just don't look, man.
Yeah, the big thing is, war is really about profit.
Of course
And it's
it
not
is.
your profit. And
Hello.
people will say, hey, I work in this industry, and since the war started, we're producing a lot more of these metal jackets.
And you know why?
You know what I mean? Or-
Yeah, and you know why that argument to me is completely invalid? Is because you're suggesting that that's the only way you can make a living.
Yeah, well, you think that because there's a war going, so you're making these. Here's the other side: if you're making these products that are going into the military-industrial complex,
I see 'em all the
and
time,
it's killing people.
Yeah.
But you're making money,
Dude,
So-
I've seen with my own eyes the casings of the bombs, like 500-pound bombs and 2,000-pound bombs and stuff. I've seen the casts coming out of the forge and the foundry, and what the shape of the bomb that they're going to fill with explosives and stuff. It's crazy, and I don't think a lot of these guys. I don't think it ever dawns on them when they look at it, like that is a building destroyer, and that piece of metal right there is going to fall out of a drone in a couple of months.
Yeah.
It's going to destroy a building and kill a whole bunch of people.
Yeah,
I
innocent
don't think
people, too.
Right. And I don't think, and all these
women,
words.
children.
Yeah, all these words get changed, man. It went from killing innocent civilians to collateral damage. So now all of a sudden they sell it to us like, oh, that's collateral damage. It's a necessary part of winning the war.
and protecting your freedom.
Yeah, and people don't think about, just because it's called collateral damage, they buy that as a legitimate name for what it really is. No, what it really is terrorizing civilians in another country by bombing them.
Yeah,
Right,
and
yeah.
you know what happens over time?
terrifying.
And that's how the terrorists are made,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, that's how they're made, and that's how you get tons of countries hating us.
And it's so obvious, but people still get boiling mad if I even suggest that to them.
No,
You know?
that's dead on. That's
That's why they get mad, because it's correct, and
'Cause
they
it's
don't want
the
to
truth.
face that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Nobody
challenges
wants to
what
face the
they've been sold and what they've given themselves to. And it sucks. It hurts, dude.
Nobody wants to have to feel bad.
Well,
I mean, sometimes reality and the truth, man, it's a SOB, man. But once you start understanding these things, you're like, man, we got to make a change. We got to make a difference somehow.
You know, you get to a point where instead of just getting mad and crazy and butthurt and just being a fuzzy pile of anger or whatever about it, you get to a point where you can accept realities for what they are, and then you can direct your energies to spreading truth or doing something about changing that reality into something that isn't uncomfortable and because it's so inhumane or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, man. After a while, when you can diffuse your anger to a point where it's not just irrational, you have personal breakthroughs and it makes you really powerful.
Yeah, Bob and Bob Show, halfway point. That was good. We got some Ron Paul coming on here for a second.
RP.
See you on the other side.
What if our foreign policy of the past century is deeply flawed and has not served our national security interests? What if we wake up one day and realize that the terrorist threat is a predictable consequence of our meddling in the affairs of others and has nothing to do with us being free and prosperous? What if propping up repressive regimes in the Middle East endangers both the United States and Israel? What if occupying countries like Iraq and Afghanistan and bombing Pakistan is directly related to the hatred directed toward us? What if someday it dawns on us that losing over 5,000 American military personnel in the Middle East since 9/11 is not a fair trade-off for the loss of nearly 3,000 American citizens, no matter how many Iraqi, Pakistani, and Afghan people are killed or displaced? What if we finally decide that torture, even if called enhanced interrogation technique, is self-destructive and produces no useful information, and that contracting it out to a third world nation is just as evil? What if it is finally realized that war and military spending is always destructive to the economy? What if all wartime spending is paid for through the deceitful and evil process of inflating and borrowing? What if we finally see that wartime conditions always undermine personal liberty? What if conservatives who preach small government wake up and realize that our interventionist foreign policy provides the greatest incentive to expand the government? What if the American people woke up and understood that the official reasons for going to war are almost always based on lies and promoted by war propaganda in order to serve special interests? What if we as a nation came to realize that the quest for empire eventually destroys all great nations? What if a military draft is being planned for the wars that will spread if our foreign policy is not changed? What if the American people learn the truth, that our foreign policy has nothing to do with national security, that it never changes from one administration to the next? What if war and preparation for war is a racket serving the special interests? What if diplomacy is found to be superior to bombs and bribes in protecting America? What happens if my concerns are completely unfounded? Nothing. But what happens if my concerns are justified and ignored? Nothing good.
I love Joe Biden. I really do. I want to thank him for not shooting anybody in the face. Obama out.
Yep, we're back. I'm telling you, Bob, bearded one.
Yo.
Ron Paul kills it, dude.
He does.
I wish he would have became president.
I do too.
Yeah.
Thanks for chiming in there, Cody.
Cody agrees, everyone.
Cody agrees.
Good morning, Cody.
Thank you, Chops.
Hey, I got a question. It's probably a stupid one, but if you get drafted, say there's a war and there's a draft, if you get drafted, do you get paid while you're at war?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, like
Yeah.
as if you were in the military?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That-
Yeah. If you die, you don't get to see any of that money, though.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
So your
nice.
family would, right?
Sure. I don't know how long that lasts. though.
That's what they called. You ever heard the term like, "Oh, Joe bought the farm"? You know,
No, I
like it
haven't heard
means
that.
somebody died. You've
Oh.
never heard
Yeah,
that?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
never heard of
yeah. I heard
It's kind of old timey, but
everybody buys the farm. Yeah.
yeah, well, you know what it is. That's from whether you were drafted or not. You got a $10,000 government-backed insurance policy when you were drafted or enlisted to go to like World War II. You know. So they would be like, "Oh, Bill bought the farm." That means he got killed in combat, and his family got $10,000, which back then was like $200,000.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they
Yeah.
pay off the family farm. And this is right after the Great Depression, you know what I mean, where people were losing everything, until the temporary boost of war economy.
Well, this is another factor in the profitability or the loss of money in war. So, the government has to pay that out.
Yeah.
If you die or if you get injured or just your pay in general. So where's the money? Where's that money coming from?
War bonds. Back in the day, citizens would buy war bonds, which is basically a donation to the government in trade for a certificate that says, it's worth. It's like treasury bonds. It's worth this much money. You gave $50. Here's your $100 war bond. It's going to be worth $100 in 20 years or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's the promissory note that you would get from the government. That's the bonds. The bonding method of funding a war. Well, they don't do that anymore. Now they just tax the hell out of you.
Well, they also they borrow from who?
Borrow from other nations.
The Federal Reserve too.
The Federal Reserve.
And then they got to pay back everything with interest.
It's
and
like
tax you to pay for it.
It's like living on a credit card and not bringing in any money and doing that for years.
Yeah, and just borrowing and borrowing and borrowing.
And then what happens? It becomes a massive bubble that either gets reset or it explodes in chaos.
What's the national debt to now?
I don't know, man.
It's in the trillions, 13 trillion or something crazy.
Zooming like a race car all day long.
It's ridiculous. So this is what war is all about. I mean, this kind of if the government can borrow, from the Federal Reserve or other global currency markets or whatever they're doing.
Sure.
And it's got interest attached to it, and then obviously we get taxed to pay for it. And so what do? They let certain corporations run free from taxes.
Yeah.
They tax the individual. War, we have our own people dying, then our taxes going up. Like, this is what war does, folks.
Yeah. Well, it creates a massive bubble. It's an artificial prosperity, and it's not real. And it usually brings empires down when it all comes to a halt, man. So if we stop going to war, what's going to happen? Once you get, this is what Eisenhower was talking about. He basically said, don't let the U.S. This guy ran the Western or the European theater in World War II. He knows how these industries work and how the complex works, And he was president of the United States, issuing speeches saying to the American people, don't let the establishment put its talons into the U.S. economy to where it's a wartime industrial economy, because then the economy will be reliant on perpetual war.
Yeah, that's the only way that you can survive is by creating war machines. And
it turns into a snowball effect where it has to keep going, and it has to keep going, because if it stops, it's like that dumb movie Speed. If it stops, the bomb goes off. And the whole economy explodes.
Right. We don't want a wartime economy. That's for sure.
We've had one our entire lives.
I know.
Nobody got time for that.
Right. We've had one, but the finances fluctuate. The war dies down, but still is on on a smaller scale, so money isn't that.
Well, it ebbs and flows.
Well, they got to make sure to show that it's not draining the economy that bad, and they got to keep boogeymen floating around so that the people still support it too.
Yeah. Well, it's also an imperialism. It's corporate imperialism. It can't be denied. There's always going to be other cloaks involved in purpose for war, like fighting terrorism, quote unquote. But we're in fact creating terrorists. Are we fighting terrorists? Yes. We're also creating them.
Well, so we got to try to show here, this new Iran situation. We have to correlate that with other things that have happened right now.
Oh, this Iran thing doesn't have to do with terrorism so much as
So let's start out by the first thing. I'm just paraphrasing, but in early May 5th, the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group and Bomber Task Force is deployed in the Middle East in a response to a number of troubling and bad situations that are happening and warnings from Iran. So that's what happens on May 5th. They send out that USS Abraham. Okay?
Yeah.
And then May 8th, Iran vows to enrich its uranium stockpile if the world powers fail to negotiate new terms for its nuclear deal.
Yeah.
So now we got Iran getting all pissy, saying they want their nukes. Okay. May 10th, the U.S. says it'll move a Patriot missile battery into the Middle East. So
my question here is, why is
this is the tic-tac or the back and forth they get started first. This is how they've done it in all the other wars. they start these little freaking tit for tat crap,
Right.
and then then something happens. So what were you gonna say? Sorry.
Oh, just why are we so concerned about Iran having nukes?
Why does anybody have nukes?
Right,
That's what I'm
Why is it
saying.
True question.
Why
That-
is there any nukes at all?
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, so we're allowed to have nukes, but Iran's not.
Isn't that what
We're
hung
both
Saddam
sovereign
over?
nations.
Well, I think
that's like saying your neighbor is not allowed to have a gun, and you are, for whatever reason, because you don't like that he's a Democrat and you're a Republican, so he shouldn't be allowed to have guns, but you can.
Well, they want more uranium. So I mean, I guess they got to send in their inspectors, and if the country that is hosting these nukes, and the inspectors come in, they say, well, they're not up to par. They're not doing what they're supposed to. We think they have more because they're supposed to sit here and tell the UN Council.
So
what
I'm
they're
only
doing.
allowed to have 5 guns. I can't have 70.
Right.
It's none of your business.
Well, listen how the U.S. is playing into this too. So, the Iran wants to enrich its uranium stockpile, and you know what the U.S. does because of that?
Tells them they can't, and then wants to start a war with them. That's what the U.S. does.
they impose sanctions on their metal industry.
Right, I get it. That's war, dude.
Yeah, so this is now they're going to use the financial side of it, tariffs. China.
We
China.
have control of like all of this, and it's not just the United States. The United States is the enforcer. We're the ones that have to come out and bark at them and have the big military. That is a coalition, by the way. It's U.S. led. That's gonna start this massive crazy war.
Yeah. So with that financial hit that we're putting on them, we turn around that they are threatening us. Apparently, I don't know what the real deal is, know, but so we sent a missile ship over there close to where it's going on.
Sure.
So now we're poking the bear. You know what I mean?
We've got stuff all around them and have for decades. But yeah, that's what we do, man.
Yeah, but this is how you get a war going.
You surround their house.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything. We're just
What would you do? What would you do? There's a couple options. If a banditry group of your neighbors surrounded your house and were like, if you don't give up 50 of your 70 guns, we're going to attack your house. What would you do?
Right.
Get them 70 guns ready and take them out, man.
Right. Well,
and that's exactly what we want
right
Iran
after that,
to do.
right after that, Trump's like, well, we need to bolster our military presence there, so that they're going to send 1,500 troops. That's just what he said.
Sure.
So that hits the media here, and that hits social media and all the news sites. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Iran's watching this stuff. I hope that they have enough sense to be like, the U.S. is a huge propaganda machine. You know what I mean?
They probably do say stuff like that, man.
So I don't know.
We say stuff like that about them.
Think about, what's even crazier is we just had the Bilderberg meeting. And now all these things are starting to roll out.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, man, they got to get that war going, too. So let's see. After
That was like 2 months ago. That's right about the time where they can start implementing a major plan.
Yeah.
Then
we have media outlets, false reports, a bunch of crap. Oh, man. Well, then we have the 2 boats or whatever. Where's that article at? You got that?
Get your shit together, bro.
Oh my god!
Oh man, it skipped.
There was a boat. It was in water. It sank.
It
went bomy.
It got J-damned.
So whatever. That's Gulf of Tonkin situation. Other than the fact that it doesn't have. I don't think there was any American people on it. It was
an oil tanker. I believe it was a Japanese tanker.
Yeah,
Two
there you
of
go.
them, I think.
Yeah. Man, I didn't read that article too much.
Well, the
man.
captain said, I just flipped over if you think.
Jesus is a fire.
Yeah, one of the captains of the oil tanker, he's disputing the official claims of what happened, and he's the captain of that ship.
All right,
he's saying that something came out of the sky and hit his boat, man.
All right, so then after that, all of a sudden we got a drone that goes down.
Yeah,
so
which is nothing new.
This is all provocateur stuff right here.
Yeah, Iran has been playing with our drones for a long time, and they're trying to make it a bigger deal. But the reality is, come on, we all know the U.S. We all know who we are and what we do. You can't even tell me that we're not over their airspace, man.
Right,
because we are.
They said the drone was 12 miles or something like that to where outside the airspace, but the drone can see for hundreds of miles.
You know what I would do?
There was no reason for it to even be that close.
Say you got 100 acres in the country, and you're doing what you do, and it doesn't. Ain't nobody else's different. Jeez, ain't nobody else's business what you're doing, right? Now you start to see some drones flying over your house, and they're marked U.S. Marshal or something, just any just any agency of law enforcement, let's say, because let's be honest, that's what the role we are playing.
I see any drone.
Iran.
I see any drone. I'm like, what the hell is that doing?
So what do
out?
you do?
Makes
What do you do?
question.
You have the capability to easily blow this thing out of the sky. What are you going to do? You're going to wait until it's on your neighbor's property, and you're going to blow it out of the sky. Don't do it over your property.
Right.
You know?
Well, it's just the same situation where they're going to talk back and forth like, it was in airspace. No, it wasn't in international airspace, and blah, blah, blah. They're
It
gonna go
doesn't
back
even
and forth.
matter. We had a drone up in their business, whether it was right on top of them or not, and they shot it down.
Yeah,
That's what happened.
What would happen if they put a drone over on our soil? You know what I mean?
We'd
We would
shoot it
send
down.
It would get
we
shot
would
down.
institute a draft and put 100,000 boots on the ground by morning, dude.
Right.
Kapooyah! Kapooyah!
Actually, we wouldn't even do that. We'd probably just send a freaking tomahawk their way. And
Smash! Smash! Smash!
Yup.
That's how they do it, man. That's how they do it. So when you get ready for war or not a war, either way, the media's going to make money or somebody's going to make money out of it.
It's nothing new. It's the whole pattern, and they're already making money on it. It's
They're drawing it out. As
You can't
we speak.
support. You can't support the wars, man. You just can't. You can't support them.
well, you can, but when you do, it's in ignorance.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get forced to support them anyway through
Right.
your taxes. So that's how that goes.
Yeah.
So in other news, you guys want to get into other stuff? Or you want to talk about war some more?
I don't care, man. I mean, I got.
War. How that song goes.
we got half Americans are freaking over the age of 38.
Well, birth rates are down.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't have kids no more.
Nope.
People don't even have sex anymore. They just jerk off on front of cameras on each other.
Right,
over the
yeah.
internet.
They just make robots.
Yeah, that too.
Either that or they don't want the hassle of having a kid.
Well, they don't, man. That's what I'm saying. The whole paradigm has shifted. It's the millennial generation is generally where this starts. Baby boomers had less kids than their parents, and Generation X has had less kids than the baby boomers. And then the millennials are having even less kids because they live on a screen.
Right,
is
yeah.
part of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. They definitely live on a screen.
Yeah.
They don't interact.
The other part of
You
it
gotta
is that there's
interact.
right, like for real interact. The other part of it is that they're a very self-centric culture, very me, selfish. The world is mine, kind of thing, and that includes not having kids because it's all about them. Everything is all about them. It's a general mindset. I'm not pointing any specific all millennials are nothing but selfish twits. It's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about. This is my disclaimer. I'm talking about a general trend of where things are going socially, and it's pretty damn obvious. So it's obvious in the birth rates being 30% down.
Right, it's crazy. So what do we do about that?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Who cares?
I mean, if we're just going to continue to let generations become more me.
well, I mean, it'll shift eventually, man.
Shift
It's
where? To
waves
worse?
in the ocean.
Is it going to go worse?
It might get a little worse.
We
and then
talk
get better.
about communication. It comes down to
You know what
3
you
words.
can do? All you can do is lead by example and state your opinion, and that's really all any individual can do. And a collective of individuals with a mind, a commonality of opinion and whatnot, will make a paradigm shift. That's how it works. Yeah, that's what you can do. That's what
Well, some things need to be implemented in the environment. Like we're talking about these kids that are growing up on a screen. We need to
Right.
get them off the screen.
Off.
Well, yeah, you can do that
So,
with
I
your
mean-
own family and yourself.
Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
have to actually dedicate a lot of time.
Oh, I
And
know.
Interact.
And on the other side
a
of
big
that is
deal.
you're too busy. You're working all the time, trying to support your family. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And where do you get the time? Maybe 2 weeks out of a year.
This
maybe.
was starting when we were kids, dude, but we didn't have smartphones, so we were actually interacting socially, but it was still the same thing to where the parents are largely separated from the kids, and families aren't the unit that they were pre-World War II. After World War II was this massive industrial boom, and it was the baby boom, and it was this post-war economy that kind of led us into a little bit of the Stalinistic way of things that were, it's hard to explain this, a Stalinistic lifestyle of where the state has a much bigger role in raising families.
Right, you just become a worker bee, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
And they train you to be that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's called the American Dream.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's not really. This is more that Orwellian word speak, dude.
Yeah.
It's not. It's the American Dream. That's a freaking Russian dream, dude. It's a Soviet dream. It's a communistic dream. But People don't realize that because they're not even looking that closely at it. They're just happy that it's not as hard as it was before the war. They're happy that they can have a refrigerator in their house, a radio, and a car with steel-belted radials, and their own little house there carved out in the suburbs. You know what I mean? So
but everything's the same. All the houses are cardboard cutouts.
Right. And that hadn't hit them like a boulder yet. You know what I mean? It's rolled over us at this point.
Well, see, but the older generations before all this tech boom, you know, they had the outdoors and they were out in the woods.
They were running family farms and stuff, and they were with their kids all the time.
Yeah, so I talk about epigenetics all the time.
Yeah.
You know, this is environmental factors that change your DNA. And
Sure,
actually,
yeah. It's happening,
because
dude.
humanity and a human is adaptive.
Oh, yeah.
To their environment.
It's
if
biological reality.
if your environment is a dark room with flicker rates coming through your TV all day long, you know, what kind of genetic switches get turned on and off throughout,
It's going to turn you into a creature that is suited to that environment, which to me sounds absolutely horrid.
Yeah, so you come out of the house and you're like, the sun, oh my God,
oh, yeah.
the sun.
Over time, yeah.
And you can't even, like, function. You have no muscles, so, like, you can't, you're always, you know, everything gets delivered to your door.
That's your immediate shift. Now think if this is the baseline reality for generation after generation, it'll start turning into permanent DNA structural change to where the species literally is morphing into a new species.
Gross. Can you imagine what that's going to look like?
It's going to look like the gray aliens, dude.
Yes.
Yeah, big eyes.
Big
and
black
over.
eyes that take in a ton of light because there isn't much light to take in. They don't have much of an organ or muscular system or skeletal system because they don't need it. All they do is sit in a dark room. Their skin is, the UV rays that on an average Midwestern, somewhat sunny day would fry them into like a state of cancerous tumors because their skin can't protect them from it. Because it didn't need to.
I mean, this is kind of
weird.
weird.
The cave walls protected them from it.
This is a weird thing to look at it like that. But
they turn into salamanders that were once apes swinging in trees, throwing stones at deer to eat them.
Salamanders.
You know what I mean? So we're gonna go from the most primitive form of human being, a primate essentially, to salamanders. If we create the conditions to where that's what happens.
You got some big testicles.
that would be like over
too?
a million years, you know what I mean? But that's how evolution works, man. But yeah, it'll mess you up too now. Like your body will still have the same DNA code right now, but your body will bend to that environment the best that it can.
I think eventually,
under the restrictions.
I think
of your
eventually
DNA
it'll get
code.
to a point where they'll just transfer consciousness. You
Probably.
won't need
It's
a
kinda
body.
happening,
Yeah,
dude.
you won't need a body as a vessel
You'll
anymore.
be a
Right.
blob, like from Ghostbusters, that green blob. That's what you.
Man, you're so 1980s.
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah.
Be a brain plugged into a server on a circuit board, man. That's it.
You just float around. You don't even have arms or legs.
The
Or
Right.
entire reality is virtual and completely programmable. What if we're not already doing that? We're just not aware of it.
Ooh.
So now we just don't have a lot of people being bored anymore. That's that.
How did we get to that? Jeez.
I don't know. I look at
That's
these
me
kids.
ranting is
Dude,
what
I
it
look
is.
at the kids, I look at the adults, I look at all this stuff that's happening, at least in the millennial factor, and it's crazy. Like, I think we're the last generation to actually be out in the woods anymore.
Right.
By and large, I would say that 2 generations ago probably said that about us. Like these kids.
No, but I've talked about it on the show with Chops and you. Like
Yeah.
I think it was the last show. We were talking about how our parents.
Oh, you definitely do not see kids around
our
playing
parents
like they
had to
used
come find us.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Now
You know where your kid is.
Right,
If
he's
you,
up
if
in
you
his
don't-
room.
Yeah. if he's not, you already know. Like if his bike is there and everything, you already know where he's at. Man, he's in his room playing video games.
And if he's not there, you can call him on his phone.
Yeah,
He never used to be able to call us.
Yeah, but now they
What
don't
if-
even answer. They're too busy on a game.
Right.
yeah.
Technology at its
You could not
finest.
get a hold. If you couldn't see us or drive up and down the street and find us, you weren't finding it. You just go back.
Yeah,
out.
we're gone. They're in the
Yeah.
woods.
I was watching those on YouTube. Those funny news interviews that dumb people that are talking or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And there was a guy, and he's getting the interview, and he says, she's asking him, there's a tornado that came through, ripped the freaking roof right off of his house. And he's like, I heard something that sounded like a bunch of trains, but then it was a tornado, and the roof ripped off. And he's like, whatever, sat back down, started playing video games.
That's a tornado.
I mean, that is what it's come to.
Dude, I saw a video of it. Was somewhere probably like Brazil. A video of like a little cafe, kind of like open doors, counter for coffee or whatever. There's a bunch of people in there drinking coffee or whatever it is. There's one guy on his phone. He's, balls deep in his phone. He's just got it up to his face. He ain't seeing nothing else around him. And this motorcycle pulls up with two guys in helmets. They park the motorcycle, get off. They pull their guns out. They rob the place. Everybody, when they see the motorcycle pull up and the guys get off and reach in their pockets, they already know. They all just hit the deck, They've probably been through this a few times. Everybody gets on the ground. They come in. They don't even pay attention to this guy that's on his phone because he don't even see them, man. They're ignoring him. They're just there to get money. You know what I mean?
And he's too dumb to even look up.
Dude, he doesn't even know. Everybody else is on the ground. These guys are yelling and shit. They come over, they get their money, and they leave. They drive away. Everybody else gets up and is like, yeah, that just happened, And then this guy, he still hasn't even noticed. After a minute, he looks up, looks around. Everything is the same as it was before the robbery took place.
Oh, my God.
Because it's over.
So it's all over. Everybody's back drinking coffee.
And he didn't even notice it happened.
Oh, wow.
He's probably like, what is taking so long on this line?
Right. And that's a real video. It was a CCTV. It wasn't a skit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, my goodness. What he must have had headphones in and everything. He did the whole shebang.
No, he didn't. He was just looking at his phone, standing there.
Wow, he was stuck.
Yeah. You see people like that all the time, man.
Yeah, meth's a hell of a drug.
Meth. That's another one I saw on there, one of those YouTube videos. They're like the zombie walk or whatever. And it's just all these dudes that are like fishing out, walking around like zombies, man.
Oh, you're talking about like...
It was for real.
People that are doing designer
angel
drugs.
dust and stuff.
Yeah, probably doing bath salts.
Bath salts.
Taking MDMA and Xanax and just ruining themselves.
Remember bath salts was in the news like crazy. What happened to that?
I think people kind of stopped doing it.
They made it illegal.
Oh, yeah. That definitely stops things.
That stops everything.
Well, that's why it stopped, because that was legal.
Yeah,
that's
really?
That's definitely it.
You could buy it at a head shop.
They got rid of bath salts.
Yeah.
Completely.
Bath salts, yeah.
So you can just make that in the tub, can't you?
I don't have no idea.
But who's
I
actually...
figured you would know. You're like a specialist.
I don't even do drugs.
Dude, if they're bath salts used to be on the market and everything, and they take it off, there's probably no black market for bath salts. You know what I mean? Because there wasn't that many people doing them.
Dude, it was too crazy. They were eating faces and
right.
stuff, man.
So who's going to be like, I got to get some of this?
I want to eat somebody's face.
Right. People were doing it because it was like $3 and you could go to Walmart and buy it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now that, a black market wouldn't support that. They'll just get the real drugs.
Well, as we're on the topic of the de-evolution of mankind, I know a lot of people have seen the article and the memes or whatever the hell's going on about people's horns are growing out of young people's skulls. Did you see that one?
No.
You didn't see that one?
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a bone spur. I think that's what they're talking about. But it's from being hunched over, staring at your phone all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the research is saying.
They're calling a bone spur a
The
horn.
research.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a headliner to try to get everybody like, oh my God, if you use your cell phone, you're going to grow devil horns.
Cell phones. Cell phones are the mark of the beast.
I think the media just misunderstood the research of it and just ran with stories to build off of it.
I think they're sensationalizing it.
Yeah, they do that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, they throw that headline out there, and then people are like,
Which
oh my
is
God.
what you're saying.
And then the big tech companies are like, well, this is against our cell phone sales. People are going to stop using their cell phone so much now.
Right.
They're going to have to come out with an anti-horn phone.
Anti-horn phone.
Yes. This phone will not give you horns.
Well, we were talking about how Google, you could have something implanted into your eyeball or whatever, and then you just have screens pop up like in your peripheral.
No thanks.
You can just flip it around, swap it in front of your face.
I'm okay
like
with
Hot Tub Time Machine 2.
I am perfectly okay with my biological functioning as I was born with, dude. I'm good. I don't need Google in my eyeball.
I think it would be sweet, man. You could have your Windows pop up, and then you can flip it back and forth. You can play music over here.
I've got a computer. I don't need it in my body.
My question is what happens when you sleep? Does it shut off or?
I don't know. I don't even know if it's created yet, man.
Yeah,
DARPA probably has it though.
Hey, but I'd be watching porn all the time.
You'd be watching porn. You'd be sitting there talking to Chops, and he's got like a porn movie going on.
He would be too.
Hold on a second. Oh, damn, all three of them.
I'm like, dude, we're talking about humanity right here.
I forgot.
So I don't know about the, we thought, what was that last episode, man? A dude actually had horns surgically implanted onto his.
Oh, people do that. That's fashion stuff, though.
That's fashion.
Weirdos.
This is what this is. This is just people with horrible posture, especially in their neck, just from having it craned down, man. Like they're trying to freaking breastfeed themselves.
Yeah.
'Cause they're looking at their phone.
Crazy.
And they're like that 10 hours a day.
Hey, thanks for listening.
That was the whole show?
That was the whole show.
Oh, man.
BobandBobShow.com, ComplaintBoxes.com. Go there.
Download the show. Listen to it. It's kind of weird.
People are interested in Instagram and Facebook, and nobody cares about politics, Bob.